Um, and let's see. I think we can start with pull requests first. Um, and I do want to touch on my pull request that I did not put through yet, but I can talk about that last. I did work on the FAQ. I just didn't actually create a PR for it. And we can cover that at the end. So let's just get started.
Hey Sarah, so Duncan is not joining us today.
He's not joining us. Okay.
Yeah, and he asked myself and Mike Rosa to kind of present on his part.
Okay.
So with regard to this pull request number 49, it was discussed last week and some changes were suggested, which he has addressed. In addition, Dave Kemp made a comment that I supported with regard to one of the figures. Basically kind of cross-connecting the posture attribute collection and the SBOM retrieval actuator profiles in a way that both of us found very wrong, for lack of a better word. And Duncan has not responded to that comment. Looking at the figures, that figure has not been updated to address that comment. But the feedback he received at last week's call has been addressed.
Okay. So you're saying that this PR has from last week, but it doesn't have
Right.
the New York comments. Okay.
Yeah.
So are we
Yeah.
comfortable merging this and having the comments addressed separately, or do
I
we
am
want
okay
to?
with merging this PR and basically somehow giving Duncan an action to fix that figure. Um, since he did, deal with the other matters, but that figure does need to get fixed sooner rather than later. Um, Whether the mechanism for that is not approving the PR until it's fixed or approving the PR and, basically requesting Duncan go on to fix the figure, I'm kind of on the fence about that.
Yeah, I guess I'm open either way. I mean, since I guess it would be kind of dependent on if you would feel comfortable letting Duncan know to make that change, or if we should just keep it open. That's a reminder.
I would say that it's a good idea to keep the repo as up to date as we can. You merge PRs fairly quickly, even if they're partial, and we'd probably have to open another issue to point to this closed or merged PR just so that it doesn't disappear. But
Yeah,
I,
we can do that. Let me just let me just create a new. Um, okay, so that's that one. So just take the information.
It's a comment from Devaya right there is the important one.
Yeah. Okay. Is that the only way I can add it? I was hoping to have a better title or something. There's probably something I can do. I'll clean this up after the meeting. But we can merge this in then. I'll clean that up to make it a better ticket. Um, just give me an actual issue number though. I like that.
Doesn't look like it. The way they integrate issues and PRs and project boards baffles me.
Yeah, I don't really like that. What do they actually do?
Not to mention, when you go into projects, it's like 4 clicks to finally get to something that's useful. It's weird.
Just an issue, maybe? New issue, how about that?
That will work better. Create
work
the
better.
issue and then put it into the project.
Are these the two that need to be changed?
It's mostly the second one.
Was that pull request 49?
Yeah.
Yeah, I still have to merge it.
Right. But I mean, if you put a note in here, if you reference 49 in here, then even if
Yeah.
it's closed.
And then I can assign that to Duncan then. What's that mean?
Makes sense to me. If it'll let you.
Sure, well, I'm just having problems.
Use Sparrow. Yeah, there you go.
Do it. Okay, so we have that issue. We need to go back to this one, which is 49. So we can merge it in. So I will do that. Since this is taken care of, I will set the issue to done. We're looking at pull requests. And then here's the other one from Duncan. I can go into files.
Actually,
Okay. Yep, where do you want me to go?
so if you go where it's up the top, it says Sparrow : retrieve SBOM data. And then it's under docs, cases.
I'm assuming.
No, you don't need to go in images. Go back up one. I think it's that one. Yeah. This is all new as of this morning, I think. Or somewhere near this morning. So last week we talked about access to the retrieved SBOM data that's in the PAR, and there seemed to be consensus that we wanted to enforce external components could only influence / get access to the contents of the PAR by going through either the posture collection service or the posture evaluation service. So this is a look at going through the PES to retrieve SBOMs from the PAR. So the first figure shows that, it's going through the PES as a way to get there. And then it goes on to discuss, format serialization. An SBOM is going to be stored in the PAR in some particular format, some particular serialization, which may or may not correspond to what the decision-making component wants. So the discussion also speaks to the issue of the PES providing a translation service between SBOM formats and serializations. And there is a figure there that's utterly unreadable because of the background, but it basically is a grid of transformations that might be addressed, and then the bullet list down below is what each of those translations consists of. So like the first one is Cyclone DX to Cyclone DX. So you're sticking with the same standard, but you're moving between XML and JSON formats. And so there's a collection of the 4 options that the grid gives you with those 2 basic, in 2 serializations and 2 fundamental formats for the SBOM. I guess, Dave expressed the sentiment a few minutes ago. They're better to have current information, even if it's incomplete or needs tuning. And I think this probably fits into that same category. It's the first anybody has written down on this. So getting something on quote unquote paper gives us an opportunity to look at it, think about it, fine tune it.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. I did have an issue with this and with Dave Lemire's opening statement, that we had discussed and agreed that access to the SBOMs always goes through the PES. We did not want to be able to write to the PAR by anything other than the PCS and the PES. But I think we still want to leave the path open for read access to the PAR using the PAR API. And so I just opened an issue before this call on that. So I agree that for translation, this is the only way to do it. The PES is going to have to do the translation. If you just want to retrieve what's already stored in the PAR, I think the DM should be able to contact the PAR directly using the PAR API, but that's read-only access. There's no writability from outside of Pace. And we can discuss those later, but I'm fine with these use cases as they exist.
Does anybody need to look at this anymore, or can I go back to the pull request? What did I do?
You're
because I'm on his.
yeah,
I'm
you're
on his.
no-
I forgot. That's right. Yep.
you got to get all the way back to the Pace repo. There you
Yeah.
go.
Okay. So, and yeah, the conflicts because of that. So I'm assuming.
That's weird.
Yeah, I thought it was fine before, wasn't it?
I'm not sure why gitignore would be changing at all.
Strange. Well, that's it.
And it's,
Assuming I can just do this.
yeah,
Does it really matter?
no.
Okay. Mark is resolved. So then I can merge this.
I think so.
Yeah. I didn't think draw.io kept backup files, but what do I know?
I was supposed to be assigning these to the people that actually do the work. I've been good at that.
Not at this point.
Not at this point? Okay.
Not at this point. Once you've merged it, the work's done. I wouldn't worry about it.
Okay.
I don't think anybody's that worried about getting credit.
Okay. All right. Just making sure.
More useful to assign assign issues to people who can resolve them, or PRs for people to review than to worry about it once the thing's been merged.
Yeah. No, I agree. Let me close this out. Okay. So, my pull request, which I did not submit, and let me pull up the FAQ that I have been working on. I just have to find it. It's related to documenting some of these issues that are essentially questions that have been resolved. So I kind of started at the bottom of this, and I started this document. The reason I didn't quite submit it is because I think there were only a couple that actually had the comment in it that it was officially resolved. I think that we probably discussed some of these and it, could be resolved, but I didn't want to put in a pull request without verifying with the group first. So I don't know if it's easier for you guys to just read from here down first. I did try to include the pull request issue number on each of these, and I took out relevant information from the comments. Or I can separately open up the issue and we can go one by one. As you can see, there's like a really good number, about 8 of these. Like some of these, like I know that we definitely, I think on the database one and the hardware SBOM, where that is. Some of these we definitely indicated in the issue that it has been resolved, but some, I think it was still a little bit unclear.
I honestly don't remember even discussing the query languages issue beyond the possibility of like something like GraphQL for the PAR specifically.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe it makes sense. Like, so like the first one, I just kind of went in order of like what's the oldest.
Mm-hmm.
So Adam asked the question, "What is our scope of work?" So here we did have a comment. I used his comment, and we talked about, essentially what Pace will actually develop. And then some of these edge cases where I think in another issue we broke out these cases into essentially different issues, so children issues of the project. Is this question resolved? I don't know. I put something in the FAQ. Like I said, I just kind of put this here. Which is what I got the gist out of the ticket, but we didn't actually put in the ticket that's been resolved. And if it's easier to look at the issue, just let me know and I can go back to this.
Do we actually have a document that goes over the scope of work of this project?
Outside of this was open a while ago. I don't know if it's easier. There's links to things, but I don't think that we actually have an official document. If we do, I'm not aware of it.
Yeah, I think we were sort of feeling our way around at the beginning. And like you said, Sarah, the specific scope questions were broken out into separate issues. And
Yeah.
I guess it would be worthwhile to check the FAQ that you've got to see that each of the issues
Yeah,
are addressed adequately there and can be closed as issues.
yeah, I think where we broke out stuff, some of the things that we definitely had a response to, I included in here. Again, I started looking through this thinking that it would be fairly easy for me to just go through the ones that had responses and stick them in the FAQ. But as I started looking at some of the comments, especially on issues that are older, I just didn't know if they were officially closed, could be closed or not. Which is why I thought it might be helpful to just look at the ones I've added in here before I close anything out, before I create a pull request. So I think if we look at, so asset, hardware, open source, as I think a lot of these, let me just go open issues separately. We have a question or a separate issue for asset, a separate issue for hardware. So those two are taken care of. Just look open source. I don't know if we have some of these. Might not be looking for the right thing though. Oh yeah, okay. Oh, these all have, yeah. So these all are documented somewhere. Not looking at this very well. These are at least. So, I imagine is that if we come up with anything else, we would open up a separate issue for it. So in a way, I think this one could possibly be closed. We can go to the next one, but I'm gonna leave that to the group.
So is the FAQ available now? Or you haven't submitted a pull request, but is it?
There is a, in the code, there is an FAQ.
Right, but I mean, what you created, can we look at it yet?
Is it easier for me to just submit because I could do that right now and just I can just create a pull request for this. I just thought it might be helpful to go through some of these issues as a group to see if the responses I put in here are adequate. But like this is, I'm assuming the FAQ, right? I'm assuming this
Yes.
is what I'm supposed to be modifying. So what was added is basically from this line down.
Certainly making progress is good. I will admit to screwing up number 43. So that was clearly closed, and then I added a comment to it, but I will withdraw that and make it a separate issue. So
Is there any other issue on here in this FAQ that is problematic? Because I think what my intention was, if there isn't, I could go into each of these issues and, create the pull request and start closing out these issues.
I don't see anything in there that worries me. Let's put it that way.
Okay. Then I'm going to submit a PR. I don't think I can approve my own pull request, so I think somebody else will have to do that. Let's see. I'm just getting the right directory. Oh, that's interesting. So are we okay with me merging this and then going into each of the issues that I added and closing them as well? And just making a comment on each issue that it's been taken care of in the FAQ?
That sounds good to me.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
that's fine.
And surprisingly, I guess I can merge my own pull requests. I didn't
Yeah,
think I could.
there may be ways to set up a GitHub repo so that you can't merge your own, but I don't think it's default. I've never had an issue with it.
Oh, okay. And on the ones I have, I've set it up where you can't. Okay, so we'll merge this in. Guess I should have attached it to the project. Okay,
Yes,
that's
one could make an argument that we should perhaps be tagging FAQ entries with update dates for each question so that it's clear, as of when we thought this was the answer. And I'm not,
I was gonna put that in the issue, but I can't. Okay, I don't know why that's.
well, I mean, right now putting it in the issue in order to close out the issues makes sense, but just thinking about it going forward,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
see what you're saying.
FAQ answers are always, as of a particular moment in time, so.
I don't know why it doesn't let me change the status on. Okay, I guess that's fine. All right. Okay. So the ones that I changed, let me just pull up the file again. So starting with issue 7. Seven number, did that actually do something? That was done. Okay. Being it open. Isn't that kind of strange? Am I not closing this out?
It's closed.
Okay. So the next one would be number 22. Second considerations. This was a question from Bill and, the other SACM working group. So I'm going to close this one as well. Project first. 24 is the next one. Eight. Uh, Okay. Do we want to look at any of these other issues that are still open that I didn't look at? Or otherwise, I can spend some time during the week to see if there's anything else in here that I missed that could be added for a new pull request, if that's easier.
Well, not to just dump on you, but I do suspect that's easier.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that. I can take another go at it. I know we're close to time anyways, I believe. So is there anything else that anybody else would like to cover?
So again, serving as Duncan's proxy, he wanted us to bring up the cybersecurity automation workshop. It's scheduled for June 2nd. I'm going to put 2 links in the chat. One is the workshop's website, and the workshop is hosted via GitHub pages. So I believe there's a link there. We'll take you to the GitHub repo, and you can contribute to the website if you're participating in the workshop. And then the second is an Eventbrite page for registering for the workshop. And Duncan would strongly encourage anyone who anticipates they are likely to participate to go ahead and register. His sentiment is better to register and change it later than not to register until the last minute. I'm guilty of not yet personally registering. My understanding from his discussion is that registration lets you select whether you're going to participate in person or virtually, and whether you're participating by contributing sweat equity of any of various forms or simply participating as an observer.
Yes, I did go through the process and those options are there.
So the website is, Duncan's attempt to keep everybody up to date and marching toward compatible goals.
Yeah, I'm finding it a little bit challenging that he says the cost-centric up information is here and the pace-centric information is there and the OpenC2-centric is, so finding what you want is not necessarily easy, that rather than having a central clearinghouse, but there's nothing we can do about that now.
So
It is a little challenging to see if you're up to date on all the various information sources.
Other comments?
Yeah.
Then I think I can give you a couple minutes back. Not many. All right, everyone. Well, have a good rest of your day.
Okay, thank you.
I think so.
All right.
That's all.
Thank you. Have a good one. Aye.